Welcome back to Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and today we're talking about the intermission after the first act. Like the last scene of an act, the intermission scene isn't really intended to do something that is internal to itself. It's a pace changer. It is here to make sure that the audience is ready to go into the next act. We just had the big final scene of the first act. In this case, it was, the girls having the time of their life. The audience needs to have their brain reset and readied for a new story, a new phase of the story. And to do that, you take them somewhere else and you show them something relatively easy to understand and usually pretty low stakes, so they have an opportunity to go, okay, here, something new is about to happen. Something new is coming. In this case, it's the introduction of Nora. I don't think Nora's introduction is as good as Autumn's. Autumn's has a lot of advantages. First off, it happened first, so it was fresh and new. Second, we hadn't actually met any of the girls yet, so we were actually learning something about them. And third, the scene had a point. I didn't show it, but it had a point. Nora's scene really doesn't feel quite up to that level. I mean, we just saw literally the most beautiful scenes that the artists could figure out how to render involving Nora, and to go from that to her garage talking about, relatively inconsequential stuff, it really feels pretty shabby. Now, don't get me wrong, it serves its purpose as a tempo changer, which is the main role of an intermission scene like this, but I just don't feel very much impact here. Act 2 is also the part where the future and the past diverge, and this scene is a very good indicator of that. In 2022, the Act 2 story is Nora arrives. That has no effect on the 1995 story. In 1995, the story is Kat is going kind of crazy and everybody's along for the ride. Those are completely different acts, and it's difficult to say that they're balanced properly. It feels like this intermission is prepping us for 2022's arc, which is completely insubstantial and pointless, and leaves 1995's arc in the dust without any motor to get it going. I can't say that I would have chosen to do this. Even worse, this is clearly shot much earlier on in the girls' relationship. If it had been shot in the woods, at the beach, in the hut, then at the very least it would have prepped us for Kat's obsessions, because that's where they come from, or that's where they arise. But because it's shot almost entirely in her garage, it makes it extremely difficult to really feel any connection between this scene and 1995's Act 2, which is a shame, because it's an absolutely critical act and it really needs to have some motor behind it, some power. I think that it needs to be more than just a palate cleanser. This scene needed to tell us something more. And knowing that Nora and we are friendly isn't more. We already know that. If it was leading up to something, if there was a big climax at the end that actually meant something, sure. But this doesn't seem to add very much, not at the tail of that beautiful sequence we went through at the end of Act 1. Maybe if it had been shot at the hut with Kat in the background making noise and getting in the way and Nora just obviously absolutely adoring her, that would have been something. It would have been a big help. It wouldn't have gotten quite so much emotional truth out of Nora, but Nora has never had a hard time giving us emotional truths, so I don't feel like we need a special scene for that. The scene is, of course, geared to swap to 2022 and get some future Autumn talking about how future Nora didn't end up doing anything even vaguely like what she wanted to, what a stupid girl she was. I just don't like it, and I think a lot of that stems from me just not liking the 2022 framing device at all. I really just don't feel it. It just does not feel useful, it does not feel natural, and none of these characters are interesting to me. They just feel like they're barely even going through the motions of living, and nothing seems to ever wake them up. Even at the end of the game, they are just vaguely surprised. It's It's really not a powerful enough section, not powerful enough arc for it to take up so much of the story. They sabotage so much of the 1995 story to try and lend this 2022 story weight, and I just never see it. It never feels impactful.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you guys something.